Feedbackula time. What's this one about then? Oh, Dead Space 3. Whatever can they be saying about that?
Dead Space breaks away from its horror roots. However, GameSpot is okay with it. Now, RE6, on the other hand, gets hammered for its experimentation. Good thing EA's check cleared on time.
Hello and welcome to Feedbackula, the parasitic show that feeds off your comments, then craps them back out in a steaming pile of video. Rounding the U-bend this week... Dead Space 3 has finally entered the world. Isn't it cute? Well, no, not really, but that's the point. It's the third installment in Visceral's horror survival franchise, concerning itself with the merry exploits of formerly mute, but now just a bit bonkers engineer Isaac Clarke. Now, this one has a distinctly different bent, making it more of an action game rather than a straight-up survival horror. Sean McInnes gave it an 8.0, which is kind of perfect for Feedbackula. Too high a score and you only get people accusing us of being paid off, or people who wanted the game to fail hard. Too low and you only get die-hard fans accusing us of lowballing the game because some other publisher paid us off. With 8.0 you get a heady mix of both. Here, watch.
Fair score, even though I do think the game deserves at least an 8.5 for the awesome weapon crafting.
It doesn't deserve an 8, at max a 7. Is this a joke? How can this game obtain 8? Terrible sequel, they actually managed to kill an excellent franchise. I know EA is trying to get the COD fans in every game, but God, they killed an actually good horror franchise. The necromorphs with guns, what a terrible, terrible joke. Even word it than the zombies with guns from RE6. Hope you're happy, EA first Dragon Age, next Mass Effect, and now Dead Space.
We all knew where the series was going when Isaac began to talk.
Dead Space ceases to be scary the moment you realize the monsters are all failed actors desperate for screen time.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. Ah!
Jesus. Let's not do that again.
I played the first 30 minutes in solo and an hour and a half in co-op. Both were fun. I was scared playing solo, and co-op was still tense. Having to kill off waves of enemies while your friend is defenseless, doing a puzzle had me yelling, "Be smarter!" Good stuff.
It's the third one, not much they can do anymore. Time for a reboot or kill it. Great series need to end sometimes.
Now, a lot of our commenters, if we're honest, seemed pretty anti-Dead Space 3 as a matter of principle. Turns out co-op wasn't exactly welcomed by all of you. There were also a lot of comments about the difficulty having changed. Some of them reasonable, some of them, well, just listen to this exchange.
What is the horror? Dead Space 1 was great because it was really scary. Dead Space 2 was fine because it was okay scary, but 3 is just f***ing stupid. I mean, seriously, co-op? F*** this, I'm not buying this if my life dependent on it. Thank you, EA, for DS1 and DS2. F*** you for 3.
You can turn off co-op if you want.
Well, yes, but still it will always be there.
No buy. If you have to switch to hard to get a normal game, it means that normal difficulty was for morons. This game is for morons. Call of Dead Black Space 3. I have noticed the game gives you an abundance of healing items and ammo. I started playing 1 difficulty above normal, and I have over 13 healing items, and have not run low on ammo once. Difficulty has been noobified, smaller than, greater than. Since when was Dead Space a horror game to begin with? It's never been scary in my O. I always thought it was just an intense action game. Maybe I've got nerves of steel or something, but Dead Space 1 wasn't scary at all.
Yeah, bro, I'm not scared of nothing. Fear's for babies. It's just like the Blair Witch Project. You don't even see the witch. Now grab my legs while I do this keg stand.
Oh my god, the comments!
Dead Space 3 looks great, but is like putting lipstick on a pig. I just don't do that kind of thing anymore. I am so upset they ruined a game I was looking forward to. Weapon crafting? Why? Just why?
Who in the name of God would care about weapon crafting when you're trying to survive a horror? Oh wait, it's an action game. Gotcha!
I don't like games where you can't jump.
Higher than I assumed. You have won this round, Dead Space.
Pass! Not interested in multiplayer plaguing every single game nowadays. I'll get this one in the bargain bin in a few years, or a GOTY edition for $20 someday.
As soon as a game uses Phil Collins in an advert, I make sure not to buy it. Or perhaps it's a genius ploy by EA to show that this is still a horror game.
Leave Phil Collins alone, you bastards! Seriously, the man's a great musician and I will not hear a bad word said against him. Not on my watch. Now, to be honest, I can totally see why people are angry with the new direction Dead Space has taken. Making more of an action game was bound to disappoint a lot of people, and adding co-op on top of that probably felt like too big of a leap in one go or a slapped-on gimmick. But how long were they really going to be able to keep their horror pure? After 2 games spent trying to bring people all out scary, those gamers found themselves able to read the title better. They'd often know when a necromorph was just playing dead, for instance, or when to resort to certain tactics. Horror is very hard to maintain, and eventually all franchises morph into something schlocky and action-based. Just look at some of the longest-running horror movie franchises. They're either rebooting themselves or just getting sillier year on year. I'm not saying it's not a shame, but I just can't say I'm surprised. Talking of things that aren't surprising, EA have a lot of DLC lined up for Dead Space 3 already. They've also put microtransactions into the game proper. I know, mega publisher in money-grabbing shocker. Anyway, here's what you lot had to say.
Dead Space 3 is a good game, IMO, just like what Sean said in his review. But it's the fact that EA is shoving their crappy post-launch DLC concept is what kills it for me and most gamers out there!
Dead Space 3 is a slap in the face of fans with finished DLC before release and microtransactions. It is not survival horror if you can buy your way out of the difficulty to survive with microtransactions. I like DS because it's survival horror. Action games are dime a dozen. In the old days, we used cheat codes. Now, we're charged for that. I'm a big DS fan, but I refuse to buy the game forever just because I refuse to support the idea of microtransactions.
It's quite possible to play the game without microtransactions. How does it stop the tension? You're the one choosing to buy things, and not buying a good game because of that doesn't hurt anyone but you. Also, play it on hard. Hard mode is where ammo scarcity comes into play. It's much better than normal.
Why just why every game developer keep butchering great horror series into mindless, pointless action game? There is a ton of those out there. Why destroy what made your game special in the first place? First it was Resident Evil 4, and now this. What the hell is wrong with horror genre? Did someone tell those publishers that horror audience gone extinct or something? R.I.P. Dead Space.
Day one ignored for me.
Sean! I was going to get mad at you because I don't know if you alone rate the game or a group of critics. Anyway, you don't do justice to the game. It is at least a 9, and I will justify this in a second. In my opinion, you gave Halo a 9, which wasn't worth it, and you gave this great game an 8. Come on, let's not laugh now. I think you are smart enough. Now the facts. Great graphics, great story, super design and detail, great environment, great movement, and gun feel. And the list can go on and on. A truly Dead Space sequel worth the continuation of the series. So, next time judge better because it's a shame to the game and the gamers.
Yeah, shame on you for putting out an opinion other than my own. You have disgraced us all. It's a review. Take it or leave it. Just know if you use the word shame, you will be ridiculed. Right, with that I'm off, but don't forget you can always let me know what you think by tweeting at Johnnet or using the hashtag Feedbackula. A prize for the first person to send me a picture of themselves eating toast. Until next time, stay angry, Internet. That'll probably do. Christ.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Oh, I just dribbled a lot.